Hello, hello, my lovely League audience. Okay, so we had a bit of a technical issue earlier, and now it's resolved. But Riot has chosen to place us in the mid lane. That's what we're gonna do. And I'm no talented mid laner, so I choose Annie. Oh my goodness. We're gonna take Q first. And I'm gonna be going Catalyst. Alright, so far I've missed 3 CS. Alright. Took a pot, because I'm low on mana. Not even bothering. Ugh. Alright, that's fine. We're gonna be able to get our Catalyst, and we'll get a health pot. So we're actually dealing with someone who knows the mid lane. Or at least, like, knows their champion well enough that they can get... They can do a certain amount of damage and get a kill. But he also knows that Yasuo falls off later on. So he's gotta make it count. Ugh. Missing so much CS because of this guy. I think Lee came at a bad time right there. Come on, Tibbers, come back here. There we go. Alright, did some damage to him. That's all I can ask for at this point. Alright. Come on, come on. Okay. Sorry, Lee. This Yasuo really wants to see us here. Really wants that CS. He's rushing back. we're gonna go back to. I'm gonna keep the we're gonna keep the CS. We're gonna keep the line over here with me. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that in one pot. I think they won't be able to get this tower, I believe. Yeah, they gotta back off. He is one scared dude of me. He's down. Not today, buddy. What is with these people? Alright, so I have to go back. I'm gonna get Rod of Ages. I would like to get that. I'm gonna upgrade to that item and head on back. It's hard to manage all these, He just sticks around forever, this guy. Alright, I guess we'll go back. Oh, the Kog'Maw. Alright. I think bot will be okay. Some damage off. Do 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 do. He's out of there. And off we go. Way to go, Nami. We might get engaged here. Alright, we're going to... Let's see, what is our next item here? I guess Zanya's... Well, first this, then Zanya's, and that... Yeah, there we go. And I guess my tower is gone. Got him. Got him. See, that's why it helps to go Hanky Annie. But yeah, the health I'm getting from Rod of Ages plus Seeker's Arm Guard armor, it's helping me stay alive. Gonna do some checking here. Okay. I was just kind of holding on to my ult here. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So after this, we should go get the Baron. Yep. Take it nice and slow. More scanning. And then just get out. Alright, so we're going to be able to afford that. And do we want some more survivability? Let's get this. This is good because it's going to allow us to move quicker. So that will increase survivability. Okay, let's see where that's coming from here. So basically, if they go on Vayne, that's when we'll go. We're just protecting Vayne here, essentially. We're like support Annie. And now we're kind of split up here. This is their best chance. Okay. I'm gonna grab this. Yes, yes. Give me that. Gonna grab this. Then I'm gonna grab some of this magic blue buff here. And then I'll head back. What is the Noct even doing, man? Okay, so we don't quite have enough for that, so I guess we'll sell that. And where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, I still can't afford it. Ah. Okay, so they're trying to clear for Baron. Yeah, that's a goodly. Goodly! Alright. Alright, there we go. Leo just wasted her ultimate there. Yep, that's right, Tibbers. Just go wild. Alright, we're gonna see where he goes. Adios, buddy. Aw, that bummer. Ah, that's funny. Alright, we're gonna go back. Gonna buy one of these. Alright, Bane is dead. This seems like a good idea, right? Oh, Gnosis. Yeah. Gnosis is gonna be dead. I don't even like, yeah. That dude, man. I need to use my Zanyas at some point. Alright, now I have some burst. Nami is dead. He actually blocked Nami's thing with that? Nice. I think this is a good idea. Can't. Not today, boyo. Alright, I gotta go back. I'm just gonna teleport. Alright, safe. Alright. Do some scanning. Double kill from the Nami. Nice. Nope. Hey, the rampage. This poor Yasuo. Alright, so I almost want to do Randuin's Omen here, but I don't know. No, we'll go that. We'll go that instead. And we'll get one of those. Man, this Gnosis, he just wants to go by himself all the time. What's with this Nami, man? Yeah, there you go. One turret down. And that's gonna be the end of the game. uh. Wow. I'm laughing so much because I don't play mid lane. All right, we'll give her shot calling, I think, because she was following up. She was following up with well, anyway, I don't know. I don't understand the team, like the enemy team, like they went in so many times, and like, what do you expect to happen? Hey, let's see if we get to, oh, look at our CS. It's horrible. That's horrible CS. I'll never get an S in mid lane because I'll get horrible CS. Even as an Annie, I'll get horrible CS. But so let's analyze for a moment. So I went Rod of Ages, and that's gonna give me enough health to survive. And there was lots of times where I actually barely survived. And I bet that threw off a lot of their guys. They're like, why isn't this Annie dying? But some extra health, and then Zanya's Hourglass is going to give you additional armor. So they were trying, there was a number of times when they were trying to focus me or even solo kill me, and they didn't realize that I was I was somewhat tanky. All right, and Ninja Tabai is going to reduce damage coming from this guy right here. He's going to be doing his little cat thing. His little and because it's basic attacks, what Ninja Tabai does is blocks 10% of the damage. So let's say he does 10 damage per hit. Each hit, it'll only do 9 damage. And in the end, it's gonna accumulate to a lot, especially when you're working with a champion that does a lot of attacks. And then, so yeah, my health and the defense had just enough oomph to really survive the mid game. Because I think that's where Nocturne is at his peak, which is at the mid game. Yasuo's peak is at the mid game. Kog'Maw, he scales into the late game. And Leona, I think, scales into the late game. So they only have 2 late game champions. So the champions that I was getting my items against were mid, like they spike mid game. And you noticed how once I got sort of like my Luden's Echo completed, and then I was working on the next AP item, I was pretty much like dealing a lot of damage at that point. And hey, all right. So as much, but anyway. So I did a decent amount of chunky damage to Leona, which Leona unfortunately was, she had no MR whatsoever. That's crazy. Like, I understand that I don't have that many kills, but look how many support, I mean, look how much support gold I have. And barely any deaths, so not bad in my opinion. It's comparable to the Lee Sin and the Nami, but they're not carry individuals. I guess Lee could be a carry. But I had to play sort of well, I don't mid lane, and the way that I see Annie is exactly how the people on my team, exactly how they found for me to play her. Like, they were being pretty aggressive. As soon as the Vayne was given like the green light, she was using her ultimate and following up and all that stuff. And it's as simple as waiting to use my ultimate to stun Yasuo or whomever that decides to knock people up. Because they've got Wukong to knock people up, they've got a Leona to use her ultimate to further stun. So really stopping that damage is key into a successful fight. So that's it. Just wait for the Wukong to use his ultimate, or Yasuo to throw out his little wind thing. Sure, whatever he's. Sure. And then just press R and win the game. So yeah, so in the beginning, early to mid, I work on defense and health, and this is going to give me survivability into the late game, where I do a lot of damage. And at that point, I think, like, I would even say, like, the last item in my inventory, I would go like Randuin's Omen or something like that, because I do plenty of damage. I do a lot of damage, and with my stun, geez, like a stun every 4th hit, I'd be unstoppable, man. If anybody tried to focus me, they'd be like, oh, I don't hit Annie for very much. What's going on? Okay. So the Lee Sin, he's got Enchantment Warrior, and afterwards he goes tanky, pretty much how a bruiser develops. Survivability with some, I don't know, he's going for, so he actually preferred survivability over completing his Black Cleaver. Looks like he was gonna complete his Black Cleaver later on. But he probably noticed that the Nocturne on the other team was doing a lot of damage. And I think Nocturne was doing pretty good in skirmishes, like fights between maybe 1 or 2 champions, like 2-on-2 or something like that. But in full game fights, like, that was difficult, because you really have to take everyone's everyone's abilities into account. And who do you focus, you know? Do you focus the Annie, who's somewhat, I mean, she does like a lot of burst. She does a decent amount of burst, and she stuns everybody. And that bear of hers is just wailing on us. You have to commit a few guys to me to even, But then, if you're focusing me, what is the Vayne gonna do? The Vayne's gonna explode you. So if you focus me, I'm gonna automatically I'm gonna ultimate. All right, so this build is quite correct. I feel like he wasn't doing too good in the mid lane, or in the mid game, and so instead of going for his damage item Black Cleaver, he would have built more defensive items against Yasuo and against the attack heavy Nocturne. And the Nocturne, it was interesting. He was going for a critical hit build. You usually don't see that from Nocturne. Let's see here. Nami, you've got Randuin's Omen. That's mostly because of Nocturne, I think. Nocturne and Yasuo. Yasuo got Infinity Edge too. So it's like, with one person building crit items, I would say Randuin's Omen is A good item. And when you got 2 people on the enemy team building crit items, you want to go Randuin's Omen like nobody's business. Like I was easily considering going Randuin's Omen to cut down 20% of their critical strikes from basic attacks. Like I was easily considering that. And the way that I play in a more defensive, that kind of strategic. Because if people are all inning you and they can't kill you, and all their abilities are down, that's big, you know. That is big. Yeah. So yeah, Nami, I believe, is correct using Randon's Omen to avoid some damage. I don't know about the Moral Economicon. I think that is a mistake, considering the enemy team. Yeah, you don't really need this on Nami. You're gonna get some cooldown reduction. You're gonna get some plus items, but I feel like most of it is kind of wasted. You're gonna get, I mean, the cooldown reduction is gonna help, but there are tanky items that can give you cooldown reduction. Ruby Sightstone, which is fine, and then Redemption, which is always an excellent item on any support. And finally, Talisman of Ascension for some speed ups. It's just kind of how you play if you want to play more offensively. And it seemed like Vayne was very adept to, you know, bursting with damage and following up. So I think this is alright. This is just fine considering the overall perspective of the team. But if I was Nami, I would usually not get this. I would get some health or something like that, and forego the Ruby Sightstone, and then build armor with Redemption, things like that. But this is still good. I wouldn't be used to using it. You gotta have to have a good sense of when to pop it or when to get out of a situation. Probably, I mean, you're more. It's good to have to get out of a situation, but they have a lot of follow up. Like Yasuo can just keep following. So one of the negatives of having that particular item. Vayne pretty much went critical hit, burst damage with static shiv, some follow up with Phantom Dancer. Like it's gonna be really difficult for any of their guys to get away from Vayne. And then finally, Lord Dominic's regards. There is the only one with a lot of health, and she does have a lot of health, is Leona. So I'll say that this is a good item just for Leona's fact and the fact that she got Warmongers. But the rest of their team, they don't really have that much health. No, I made a mistake. Wukong actually has a decent amount of health from Dead Man's Plight and the Black Cleaver. So she'll do some additional damage for Leo and Wukong, but I believe she will do the most damage from the Leo. But I think that's just Leo alone. Dominic's regards is fine for her. She could have gone something also like armor penetration. That's going to affect Wukong as well. But since they both have sizable health pools, and Leo especially with Warmox, then this is okay. This is just fine. And then she's got Mercurial Scimitar because they have a lot of CC, and a little bit of CC coming from the pool that he puts out. But I don't know if you can break that, because essentially you're standing in the pool all the time, and if you broke it and you're still standing in the pool, you're still slowed. But I don't know. So yeah, this once she activates this item, which is an offensive item, allowing some magic resist as well, but this team doesn't really do much in terms of magic resist. We'll get Vayne out of a situation, a sticky situation, and you've got Nasus going full tank with a Trinity Force with Thornmail. pretty much standard tanky stuff from the Gnosis. Pretty much full crit build from the Yasuo. It looks like he was hoping to go a little more quick. Well, this is interesting. Like, he went Infinity Edge instead of going Static Shiv first. I wonder if that's like the way you build Yasuo these days. And also, he was going for Bloodthirster. This is the way to get a little more survivability with the Bloodthirster's shield and the capacity to continue to survive. And then that's Yasuo's trademark right there. But the problem was, it was difficult for Yasuo to even initiate or even try to get his ultimate up, because as soon as he did that, he wouldn't do that much damage initially on the ultimate. Then I would just stop his damage with my R and my combo. And with my complete combo, I pretty much decimate their entire team. Leona built health, which is fine. But over time, you're going to have Vayne getting items that is going to target that. Not only that, Vayne's one item, what was it? Vayne's one, her passive is to do damage, true damage every third hit, I think. So I think actually this is probably the best build, because true damage is going to go through armor, so you might as well have more health. And these days, people are building Infinity Edge instead of Blade of the Rune King. So if you're Blade of the Rune King, you're gonna do more damage to higher health minions or higher health champions. Whereas these days, it's more about Infinity Edge and a crit build. So this is pretty interesting. Like in the past with Vayne, you would have got Blade of the Rune King, and then it would have been better to go Thornmail or something against Vayne. But I think this build is excellent because it's itemizing correctly versus the Vayne. I think you're gonna get the most survivability from Leona with this build. Wukong went tanky and a little bit of damage. This build is a little confusing to me. So he's not going to do that much damage, but he's going to have a lot of survivability. But the problem with Wu is the way that this kit is you want to get a decent amount of damage out. I mean, he'll get, I guess, a little bit from Black Cleaver, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's the crux of Wu. Like, he got, well, yeah, I guarantee you, like, if you check out how much damage he was doing in fights or how effective he was in fights, he just wasn't being that effective. But that is also due to the, you know, the where things were when team fights were starting. I think things were more even when there were little skirmishes going on. But when the main team fight started coming out, these guys were really lackluster. They just couldn't do enough damage because their damage relied upon, you know, Yasuo, and they'd have to combo all their abilities like perfectly, succinctly. And all we had to do is wait for them to try to engage, and then bam, bam, they're dead. But yeah, I think they could have did a much better job if instead of pursuing skirmishes, although that's good, when you pursue a skirmish, you know, you're going to be more adept, you're going to be more used to continuing skirmishes, and you're going to say, well, if we're doing little skirmishes still, then let's continue doing it. Because the people were after Nami, and Nami was just baiting them. But they've got that skirmish mindset that, oh, let's get Nami. And then Wukong went in and I blew them up, and then Vayne followed up. And so the Nocturne actually went for a critical hit build. That's pretty interesting. You don't expect that, so you're gonna deal out a decent amount of damage. And and he definitely had like burst damage and all that stuff. He's not gonna have survivability though, so once he's low health, you know, he's got to retreat back into his little house. But still, I think this is an interesting build coming from the Nocturne. You don't expect it. It's a lot of burst, and it's possible that your enemies aren't paying attention to it, and so they don't itemize against it. Now, Nami and Lee were itemizing against it, and I wasn't even paying attention to the Nocturne and his build, but I would have inadvertently itemized against his build because just I want to be tanky, I want to survive because I do plenty of damage. Jeez Louise. And then finally you got the Kog'Maw, which he's got Blade of the Rune King, and he's got lots of farm. So with damage coming from Kog'Maw, if they just would have gotten better together, they would have done a much better job. But they had this skirmish mentality that put them behind. They really needed to ally all their abilities together. But I mean, I think it is pretty difficult thinking, how do we approach this? Because they have just as much CC as we do, and that Vayne, she's a bit crazy. All right, guys. So hope you enjoyed this episode of Jungle Arch in the mid lane as Annie. She's a pretty she's a fairly easy champion to manage, and when you build tanky and survivability like I do, especially if you're just concentrating on the lane, as far as Yasuo goes, it's so nice to get things like Ninja Tabai, work on health early, but that's how I usually play Annie, because I'm not good, my CS sucks, so I need to survive. Alright, I will see you guys later. Hey-oo!